And so I noticed that you call what's happening now a genocide, and you rightly point out that it's really not a question of debate, but you also call what's happening now a Holocaust. So can you explain why you call it that?
Well, because the experience is so similar. I mean, the total destruction, the deliberate obliteration of homes so that people have nothing to go back to, is actually echoes my own experience. Because after the war, our original home was on the other side of the Danube. We couldn't cross because all the bridges were blown up. But when the Russians made a pontoon bridge, we crossed back to look at what happened to our home. And when we arrived at our address, our home looked like a doll's house. The side wall completely blown down. You could look into our flat with some of the furniture in place. We were suddenly homeless from one day to the next. That's very similar to the experience of the Gazans. And the image of this total destruction of an environment in rubble that we had in this limited area where the final fighting was. That's what I saw. Their experience of being cut off water, basic things, electricity, etc. We went through that, exactly the same. But most of all, the mental torture, they're having to make decisions of moving on, trusting your enemy's word, virtually, that there will be a safe place somewhere else. I also went to an event of reading of letters from Gaza and listening to some of the horrific experience of a Gazan family, exactly the same as what my family went through. Having been told to leave their home within 48 hours by the Israeli authorities. And they had somebody, a seriously ill person, who couldn't be taken with them. What to do about it? Now, my family in Transylvania had an opportunity to save themselves because the Romanian workers of their large farm said, look, we could take you over to Romania much safer, cross the border with a horse cart transport on secret routes. And you should go. Don't trust the Hungarian authorities any further. And they had somebody who was very ill, an elderly person among them. And so they turned down this opportunity. And they all got wiped out, the whole family. Everyone, old, middle-aged, and young children, all of them. That also rhymes with what's going on in what I heard in that letter from Gaza. And the way they divide their family so that somebody might survive. It's completely the same experience. And it looks like the same end result. So I have no difficulty in calling it another Holocaust.
I wish more people had that view. I mean, it's so fascinating to me that there are people who have never faced anti-Semitism who totally support what Israel's doing. And then there's someone like you and other survivors who are able to see that what Israel's doing has nothing to do with Jewish safety.
Absolutely not.
And also you have empathy for the victims. I mean, that makes sense to have empathy. But then there is hurt people. That idea of kind of like a cycle of abuse.
Yes, yes. I mean, similar to what goes on in a family situation. Um, One doesn't know to what extent. But when I think of my own family, where I cannot explain their racism, it may be part of the trauma that they cannot see straight.
Yeah. Or maybe just being in Israel where they're
Yeah.
inundated with.
Yes, completely inundated with this fear mongering as well
Right.
as and completely misreading the character of the people they're facing.